and welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast. I think we're quite a few episodes in, and I still don't have a name. And I guess y'all don't know my name either, but since we're, in that vein, we'll just keep it at that. My name is in the caption, I'm sure. Jumping back in to the entrepreneurial journey. Wow. It has been a ride for sure. And when I think back to some of the experiences that I've had, I'm like, girl, you are crazy. You are crazy for like doing all of this, and you are crazy for experiencing all these things, and you still show up and you still like do your thing. And let me give myself a pat on my back, right, for doing that. Okay, so let me tell y'all about the time. Well, story time. That's how they do it on TikTok. Right. Story time. Story time about how the repo man showed up at one of my events looking for my car. So I told y'all, business, you got to have money, right? Business, you gotta have some sense. Business, you have to be, productive and do all the things. So in me leaving my job and leaving my career with the government and IT and all that good stuff, I didn't know. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't know how anything was supposed to go or to happen. All I knew was I had my mom's granola recipe. I could cook very well. I could bake very well. And we were going to make something happen, right? So I took my last paycheck and I'm like, okay, well, we just going to make it happen. And I didn't know that I still had to like be responsible for my life, right? I just thought that it was just going to magically appear. Like for all my Christian girlies and guys, I'm stepping out on faith, right? I am stepping out on faith and God is going to make this happen for me. I've given all my offerings. I've done all the things. And now with my mustard seed faith, I am going to go out here with my last paycheck and all the things that make me amazing, and I am going to blow up and I'm going to have all this money and I'm going to da. And I was quickly humbled. Especially when the repo man showed up at one of my events. These two like no name looking white men in like just regular t-shirts and dungarees showed up at my event while I'm selling cake and I'm doing all the things, and they're like, yeah, are you Danielle? I'm like, excuse me? Because y'all, I was in the middle of Southeast too. Like I was off on MLK by the big chair, right? So these two like white men walking into my event in this neighborhood, I'm like, oh snap, like something's really wrong. Like, wait, what's going on? Yeah, we're looking for the car. We're looking for the 2008 Lexus GS. Yeah, where is it? We know you have it. Like they are like strong arming me, and I'm trying to keep a straight face. Like I don't know, who these people are. Like I am sweating and fainting and doing all the things on the inside, and I'm at this event by myself, like with all these people in public. So I'm like, oh snap. Like I don't have, like I can't even run. I can't even, like the only thing I can say is, look, I don't have the car, like, and you need to leave because this is a private event, right? But the humiliation, I was just so just distraught because again, I'm out here stepping out on faith. I am fulfilling my calling that God has, called me to. And, me and my little mustard seed, we are out here and we are doing all the things. And these people are trying to take my car, right? They're trying to take my car. So I was mad at God for a little while because I'm like, dang, like you got me out here and I'm doing all the things. I'm quoting all the Bible scriptures. I'm manifesting. I'm, all that wild stuff that, we tell ourselves, I'm giving all my art, I'm just doing everything. And you mean to tell me these people are about to take my car? Like, how am I supposed to get around? What am I supposed to do? So at that point, I'm just like, okay, we gonna have to think about like what we're gonna do. And let me think back real quick. I think at that point, okay, so at that point, I was hiding my car at one of my family members' houses, right? So I was hiding the car at one of the family members' houses, and I was, getting around via Uber and Lyft and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just like, hiding this car, believing that me and my mustard seed of faith that, God is going to it's going to turn around overnight and all the things, right? And guess what, y'all? It did not happen. I'm sorry to say that. Oh my God. Absolutely.
You're driving the mustard seed. Come on, guys, hop in the mustard seed. God dang.
So I was just so stressed out, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I tell my business mentor, I'm like, hey, like the people, they really after me, because at this point, I don't even know how they found which family member's house that I was hiding, my car in the garage. These folks was I guess they got a ladder and they was looking through, the little windows that's at the top of the garage. They're looking through the windows, and I guess they saw my car, and they beating on their door. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you got this Lexus in there. And then my family member is calling me like, oh, snap. The people is at the door. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just too much. It's just too much going on. And so my business mentor at the time, she said, girl, get that them people their car. Get a damn car back. And I'm like, but it's my car. And, and she was like, give the car back. And I promise you, God is going to bless you, with something else. I was just like, oh, that was just a hard decision for me. But I can't, let my folks go down. They trying to break into their house to get this Lexus, right? That I can't even drive. Like, I'm trying to hide this thing that I can't even freely enjoy and all the things. So it was just too stressful, and the pressure was just insane. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to let them come and pick up the car, right? I'm not going to hold on to this car. I'm just going to, let it go and just see what happens from there. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let the car go. They come pick it up. Boom. I'm out here walking. A lot of people don't know that the events that I was doing for them and, the orders that I was doing for them, I was legit like walking from my house to the grocery store, walking, catching Ubers and Lyfts, because I didn't always have enough money to, be able to pay for like Ubers and Lyfts and all that kind of stuff. So I would walk, to make things happen. And so I met this older guy. He was a tax preparer, and he was like, and I was telling him, I don't have a car, da 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 da. He was like, okay, don't worry. And he was like, I'll, help you get a car, he like helped me structure my finances, in a way where, I could get a car. So I'm like, okay, so I get this car, and I'm not gonna even tell y'all how I got the car, because I don't want to go to jail. But desperate times calls for desperate measures. So what I will say is, being an entrepreneur, that puts you in like a very different, financial situation. And when it comes to having your paperwork structured and things, okay, you don't always have like the paperwork. Like, you have the money, you have the finance, but you don't always have the paperwork. So I had to get me some paperwork. Okay. And when I went to go get this car, I was sitting in the finance office, just waiting. I got everything together and all things. So the guy came back and he was like, so yeah, you didn't write all of your income down. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? He was like, yeah, you missed the child support. You didn't put your child support down in your and I was like, oh my God, like child support. And so I'm texting the person who helped me structure my paperwork, and they were like, oh my God, I forgot to take that report. I forgot to take it. So then, so I'm looking at the guy and I was like, I said, sir, I said, this is a very odd circumstance. I said, and I know that you know, usually don't see women that are on child support. I said, but unfortunately that's the case with me. I hit like a rough spot in my life and I wasn't able to financially support my children, so they're with their dad. And so yes, unfortunately I do have to pay child support, so thank you for catching that error. And I rode out of there with my Lexus RX truck that day.
Out here lying.
I mean, it worked. And it was an African man, and he was like, he turned red, like his cheeks was like so red. He was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry, like yeah. So I had to be quick on my feet because I'm like, oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? So I get the Lexus truck, and I'm driving it around. We pulling up at events and we doing the things. I finally got a car, and I'm just God has blessed me, right? Okay, God has blessed me. So the financial stress that I was under was just eating at me, because again, I still have like my debts and things from my life prior to entrepreneurship, the car, all the things. I'm like trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to take care of like all this debt? And because I'm not making that much income, I'm not that popular at this point. So what am I going to do? So my tax preparer, excuse me y'all, God bless my tax preparer. My tax preparer encouraged me to file for bankruptcy. And I'm like, bankruptcy, over the years, we're always taught bankruptcy is so bad. It's going to ruin your credit. Da, 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 da. Let me tell y'all something. Bankruptcy was one of the greatest decisions I have ever made in my life. And I would encourage someone, like, if you meet the criteria to reset yourself and clear those debts and things like that, I would recommend anybody do it, right? Because it is a tool. Look at it as a tool, not an indictment on your wrongdoings, if you will, and being like a poor financial manager. People with a lot of money and resources, they leverage that tool all the time. So it is a tool, one of the greatest ones I've ever used. So I'm riding around in this car, and the tax preparer, he's preparing my bankruptcy documents and all the things. And so I'm good to go. And we start the process and everything, is going. And one day I left the house and I needed to go restock on like butter and eggs or something. I think I had like a cake to do, whatever. And I get to the parking lot and my new Lexus truck is gone. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm texting the group chat. I'm texting my family. I'm calling. I'm like, oh my God, somebody stole my new car. Like, how could that be? Like, my car was stolen. So I'm calling the police and I'm like, my car was stolen. I'm calling the police, and because, they keep a record of if your car was repossessed or, what have you, or if it was just towed from your neighborhood, they know, right? So no, it wasn't repossessed. No, it wasn't towed. So surely my car was stolen. So I'm in a frenzy. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sad. So I finally get this communication that the bank that I had just financed this new truck with had repossessed my truck. They took my truck back. And so I'm on the phone with the bank, and I'm cursing these people out like, y'all took my money. Like, I'm paying every month. I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm now in a position where I'm able to make the $600 payment, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, right? And I'm like, y'all took my truck, and they were like, well, yeah, when you file for bankruptcy, we don't have to allow you to keep your asset. It belongs to us, and if we feel that we want to recover our property or whatever, we have the right to do it. Y'all, I was sick to my stomach. I was sick because I'm like, oh my God, I just got this car and now a couple months later it is gone. Like, what am I going to do? So one thing I did do is, once I got myself together and once I, researched and did all the things, I called the bank back and I asked to speak to the person that I had cursed out, and I apologized to that lady, because I was just so frustrated. I was angry. I thought that I was doing the right thing and all the things, and I thought that they had wronged me. But I was humble enough to go back and apologize to that lady. And that lady, she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, we have a very difficult job that, that we have to do. And I don't think I've ever experienced anybody, just apologizing. And so that meant, a lot to her. And, and I know that it meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to God for me to do that as well, to apologize to her. So now, second car gone. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? Like, I am legit out here back to walking, and I don't want to walk. I don't want to have to walk. I don't want to have to spend up all the money that I'm earning on Ubers and Lyfts and all the things. So, I just wrote it out for some months, and then when the actual bankruptcy cleared, then all of a sudden I started getting all of these offers for cars and all the stuff. It put me in a as those months went by, it was probably maybe 4 or 5 months after that car had gotten taken. I was able to save up, some more money, have some additional resources, and things like that. And I was able to get a car. I was able to, go to the dealership without my extra paperwork, and and actually get another Lexus truck. But this truck was what I actually wanted. Black on black. Black is my favorite color. I love everything black. Blacked out on the outside, blacked out on the inside. It was just perfect for me, right? So I was able to go and get that with my conscience being free and clear, and nobody, I'm not running from nobody. I'm not hiding from nobody, and I'm not, doing anything wrong in order to get this asset that I needed. And I call it an asset because it's a part of my my business portfolio. This is what I use to operate business, right? So I'm all the way out. Now let me tell y'all, I got approved for this vehicle. This vehicle was all the way out in Chantilly or Sterling, Virginia, which is an hour away, right? I couldn't find anybody to take me out there, and I was not gonna walk. There was no way for me to walk out there. But I was like, so the ride that I did have, they was like, oh no, they flicked on me at the last minute. I said, okay, bet. I got an Uber and rode all the way out there to the dealership, did everything that I needed to do, and I drove back home in that vehicle. Y'all, tell me why a week later the car salesman called and he was like, hey, we wasn't supposed to sell you that car. I was like, God, what, yo, I am legit doing what I'm supposed to do. There is no way. What do you mean? He was like, yeah, well, yeah, since it was over the weekend, the bank has to, once the bank opened up Monday morning or whatever, they are taking a second look, and the way in which things look, you can't do this without having a co-signer because, you have this bankruptcy. And I'm like, yo, I can't believe this. So I looked at my mom. I said, Mom, they trying to take my car again. She said, no, there's no way. And my mother was like, I'll help you. And I was like, it helped me, and me, kind of being prideful. I was like, no, Mom, let me take care of it on my own, right? Before you step in and help me, like co-sign for me or whatever, like let me try to take care of it on my own. And if I can't take care of it, then, would you help me? My mother had to co-sign for my car, right? And that was okay. So she co-signs for the car, and all was well in the world. I got like a cheaper rate and a cheaper car note and all that. And now, thanks be to God, that car is paid for. Like, I, even in this season of like me not being as productive, and me going through a lot of loss and transition, and not working as much, some way, somehow, God has blessed me to still be able to pay off a whole car. So I am debt free in that regard. So even in my season of transition, and what I would consider to be unproductive, and not, having hundreds of clients a day, and, doing all the things, hustling and all of that, God still provides. And He provided for me, and He will provide for you in your own unique way, right? And so, yeah, that's it.